Good morning. It is roughly 8:30 in the morning, maybe pushing 9 by now. These have been set up for a few minutes. And I am comparing my original EcoFlow Delta charging with the panels that I got with that, and my Delta 2 with the battery that I just purchased. And I want to talk about this solar array, and we'll talk about this solar array too. So this solar array might be, I don't know if they're still selling these, but I saw somebody do a video on the setup on these, and they are kind of janky, but it works in a pinch. And see if you can see what's happening here. This is the case that it comes in, and there's like a board in there. So this will stand up, but it concaves. It doesn't sort of sit straight. And I'd like to do something to try to make this sit more straight. But what I was able to do was I found this little light laying on the ground, and you can kind of see how this popped out a little bit. It was more pronounced earlier, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to sit straight, so I kind of just stuck that in there. Maybe I should do it the other way. There we go. Now I get a little more sun. Stuck that in there to create some tension, and then it just kind of sits a little straighter, but you can kind of see how it's sort of, maybe you can tell it's kind of going that way. And I think the idea is that they work better when they're sitting straight. But, and I don't know what the capacity on that is. After this video, I'll look everything up. I've already looked it up, but I just can't remember anything off the top of my head. I think this might be, I don't know, 150 watts or something. But it's pulling 100. So there's that. So we'll just let this ride. But I'm not sure how long the sun is gonna last on this side, so we'll see how much charge I can get with the morning sun. And tomorrow morning I'm gonna just get out here at dawn and get this thing rolling, so I can get the maximum morning sun. Because if I can keep these things mostly charged up with just the morning sun, that'd be great. Because yesterday I tried to charge these two on this panel array, if you want to call it that, starting around 12:30, and they just hardly moved. And these things, there was like no place to put them in the shade, and I covered them with these, and so they were still a little hot, or with this, and they were still a little hot, and so I'm wondering if that affected the charge. So these were both around 10, I would say, or lower than 10, and I got them up to 30, and it took from 12:30 to like 6 o'clock, or whenever the shade hit those things, and I had trouble with those as well. But these right now, they're getting 150 watts. So, and I've got this extra battery. This is the Delta 2 EcoFlow. Oh, that's so funny how it looks like it's flashing like that on the video. I've noticed that in people's videos. Anyways, but when you see it, these lights in real life, you don't see that flashing. I guess it has to do with the resolution of your camera or something. Anyways, or something in that realm. So as you can see, the main unit is gathering the 150 watts, and then it's sharing half of that over here with this guy. So that's how you charge the battery. So this one I may, well, I mean, I don't really care. I'm not like in an emergency situation or whatever, and I don't need the charge. But eventually I do want to have this whole solar charging system down, so it's not so crazy. And it may involve buying another one of these. I kind of like them, but I kind of don't. Certainly, if you have the standard, you know, big, solid solar panels that you can attach to something, you know, that may be what I do with these. However, I do like to be ready if I have to go somewhere. I think that I would, especially since I have that extra battery, it might be a good idea to get another set of these. I can't remember if they were like $275 or $425. They're not cheap, but they're not as expensive as those solar blankets. I was looking at solar blankets, and those are supposed to be good. Well, they're good for a lot of things. I love them, actually. But one of the things they're good for is they do better at charging your batteries under cloudy conditions, the solar blankets. But they are super expensive, and I'm not talking like $800 expensive. I'm talking like $1,200 and up expensive. But they're supposed to be real good, and they fold up real nice. It's like they fold up into like the size of a, you know, one ream that you would buy of like 8.5 by 11 printer paper. Yeah. So talk about easy to move, and just the fact that those solar blankets are still going to work in a cloudy condition. Now, I mean, I'm sure they're not as strong as when the sun is shining, and I was looking at some comparisons and stuff. I haven't looked too hard to see anything definite, but still, you know, when you're using solar and you need to depend on the sun, it's nice to have something like that that's going to work for you when it's shady. So now, the problem with these, and they're a lot less problematic than those. I really do not like the way the stock method for mounting those is. I do not like that. Something needs to be done with that. Something that's also mobile. Now, in the afternoons, like once it hits noontime, I'm just gonna lay it flat. Just FYI. So if that I might be able to get that charged up into the 90s, you know, by 1 o'clock, and you know, at about 11:30, I'll come out here and lay that thing flat. These, on the other hand, let's get back to these. These, I think these are 220 or 250 or something. They're 200 plus watts. And I think you have, there's a limit of how many watts you can charge with. And I can't remember what that is. So again, once I get done with this video, I want to sit down and get all that figured out. These Delta 2s, I will say, do have a higher surge wattage than the Delta 1. So I'm planning on trying that with some of my tools that I want to get, like my wood chipper, which I think it needs like 1500 watts, or they're rated at, the machine itself is rated, some of them I've seen anyways, are rated at 1500, and I don't know which one I'm going to get and what it's going to have, and I don't know how that translates into surge power, because I think this is these are 3300 watt surge. So if those wood chippers surge over 3300, I'm gonna have to get a better unit. Okay, so let's talk about this. So when I first saw these, I was like, what the heck do you do? And I tried setting it up on the tile in the house. It was a no-go. These are not gonna work on tile unless you have like some kind of a brick or something to put in here, because it just sort of slides back because it's got this, it's a pretty strong elastic. And if you don't have some kind of a thing to anchor these back part into, like I have them anchored into this concrete joint, you know, it's really hard to get them at a 45. I mean, these aren't even at a 45, but they're okay for the morning. So these are really good morning, afternoon, good to go because of the angle. They're better for taking the sun in the mornings when the sun is low in the sky, because you can't get that 45. You can see that's not 45. They need to be, but it's really hard to get them at 45. Now when the sun gets a little higher, I am going to come out here and fiddle with this and see if I can get it at the better at a 45. But again, something is going to need to be done to be able to get these at 45, but they do work better than that system. Now these are also, oh, I can't remember what the term is they use, double-sided, so they should be getting, that's probably, I think I'm going to try to do some things to get more oomph out of the back, and so that is where this thing is going to come in handy. Now I've also got some other aluminum coming that doesn't that is more solid, because this non-smooth aluminum surfaces are not as efficient as the smoother surfaced ones, and I do have some of that. So as I go along, I'm going to try putting different types of aluminum under here to see how that changes. So let's put this thing down. Now this just so happens to kind of fit just like this, real nice. So if this makes a difference right now, I will just leave it. So let me go over on the other side. Also, I'm wondering if maybe I put that, what the heck, I got this weird message. Put this aluminum in the front, if that will increase the intensity of the sun. Yes, that was. Okay, so let's see if anything changed. Well, it looks like it's not changing a lot, but there we go. That'll help a little bit. Even if it's 2 watts. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. I don't remember what it was on before, but it was in the 150s. It might have given it an extra 10 watts. Maybe it was floating around 148 if I remember. I don't know. All right, well, I'll make more videos. So, having fun with solar.